Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. A very warm welcome to our Call of Duty presentation centered. I'm Steve Meredith, and I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague Diane Paradise today. We both work in the Mining Information team here at the Mining Remediation Authority, and today we'll be sharing a bit about how our data is used to provide confidence to the housing market. We're going to discuss all manner of topics, such as where our data comes from, how we use it, who else can use it, and how you can access it. So I'll just start with a general bit about the Mining Remediation Authority. Firstly, I'll briefly mention our recent name change. We became the Mining Remediation Authority in November, as we felt that name better reflected the work that we currently do. And for myself, after over 20 years with the organisation, I'm still getting used to it myself, so apologies if I slip back into any old ways at any point this morning. But we are a public body. We're sponsored by the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, and we've been managing coal mining legacy on behalf of the government for the past 3 decades. We've got a strong mission of making a better future for people and the environment in mining areas. So we have a very clear purpose here, which is to keep people safe and provide peace of mind, to protect and enhance the environment with the work that we carry out, to create value and minimise costs to the taxpayer. And finally, we use our information and expertise to help people make well-informed decisions, and this is mainly through our coal mining reports and advisory services. And whilst we do manage the legacy of coal mining, more excitingly, we can also use the past to help shape our future. You may have seen us a while ago on Countryfile and The One Show, where we're exploring new ways to convert former coal mines into assets for local communities across Scotland, England and Wales, which is all very exciting for you. Just an interesting fact for you, it's estimated that 25% of homes and businesses in the UK are located above former coal mines. So it's good to see that the legacy of coal mining can be used as an asset, especially to heat homes and businesses for the future. I shall now pass over to Diane.
So in the last year, we carried out over 10,000 mine entry inspections, which forms part of our statutory duty obligations to keep mine entries safe. We investigated nearly 900 mining hazard and subsidence claims, which can be reported to us 24/7, 365 days a year. We delivered over 126,000 coal mining reports, and our reports are there to provide confidence to conveyancers, homeowners, developers, and all those involved in buying and selling process. We provided over 9,000 planning consultation responses, and we are a statutory consultee. On top of that, we treated 231 billion litres of water, and this is to prevent pollution reaching our drinking water, rivers and our seas. And we prevented over 4,000 tonnes of iron solids from entering watercourses, and in a typical year we treat 5.6 billion litres of mine water. So as you can see, the work we do is vast, and it's all underpinned by the data that we hold. I'm going to hand over to you, Steve, now, please.
Thank you, Diane. One thing I should have mentioned at the start to everyone, if you do have any questions, please use the Q&A facility in the meeting and we can address those at the end. So at the Mining Remediation Authority, we hold data in extremely high esteem. At our Mansfield office, we've got a National Archives standard plan store, which is full of historic information. That's truly my happy place. We've got a full collection of 120,000 coal mining abandonment plans. These date from around 1872, when it became law to submit plans of where coal had been extracted. We do have plans dated previous to 1872, but unfortunately not a full collection. We also hold British Coal's official shaft register, where the different surveying officers will record details of all the shafts. We've got historical geological sheets, lots of British Coal's rationalised plans produced in the 80s and 90s, and we've even got old surveyor notebooks dating back to the 1800s. And all that information is great, and the originals are used by myself and my team on a daily basis, but it's what we've done with that data that we are proud of. We've digitally captured the data from the 120,000 abandonment plans and now hold it in a state-of-the-art corporate geographic information system. Along with this information from the plans, we've added additional data over the years as it has become available, and we even used our existing data to create new useful data sets. A prime example of this, which you may be familiar with, is the development risk areas, which are now essential in allowing us to perform our role as a statutory planning consultee. So as I mentioned earlier, I'll now touch a bit on how we use our data and what for. So it feeds into our suite of mining reports that we offer, from the Law Society compliant Con29M reports that I'm sure anyone who's ever bought a house in a coal mining area will be familiar with, to our more bespoke products like the Consultants Report, which gives a greater level of detail on the mining circumstances of a site, and even our Mine Entry Interpretive Report, which I'll cover in detail later on. And these are just a few examples. We also license this data to other, whether you want all the Con29M layers to start producing your own mining reports or just need some specific site data to carry out investigations in your own GIS, then we can facilitate that. Also in our team, we'll deal with a lot of queries as a result of the information shown in our mining reports. So in answering these, we will often go back to first principles, using the original raw data to validate our findings. In doing this, we build up great relationships with consultants and members of the public alike, giving them confidence in our answers. We also use the information to support our own operational decisions for our internal statutory teams. And finally, of course, we're always looking to improve our data. Our database is updated on a daily basis as we receive new information from internal and external parties. And we also have a dedicated data improvement team for larger wholesale projects. So now I've covered all the great ways we use our data, I'm going to tell you where you can view it too for free. So if you go on the internet, you can search for our interactive map viewer, and you will have access to all kinds of our data to help you make decisions. Like I say, completely free. There are several different themes within the viewer offering different layers. The planning theme, as you might expect, has all the layers that go into making the planning development high and low risk areas. So this is really useful for potential development sites, residential extensions, all kinds of work like that. There are limited attributes to view against the layers in this theme, but the information is still really useful. In there as well, you can even query the abandoned mine catalogue layer to see roughly which abandonment plans cover an area. Although for anyone who's familiar with abandonment plans, please bear in mind that this search uses the old county sheet graticule square system to search. And if you'd like an explanation of that, I could probably do an entire webinar on that myself. But when it comes to mine entries, though, that's what everyone wants to look at, and underground workings, you can also switch to the coal mining theme. And here, they've got a lot of similar layers, but there's much more attributes available to view, such as for mine entries, depths and diameters, if we have them, the mineral that's mined, and even their departure, which is a statement of their plotting accuracy. Under this theme, you can also see underground working outlines and seam levels. So it can get a bit busy in areas such as South Wales, where you've got multiple seams all on top of each other, but the information is really useful for a quick view of what kind of mining activity has taken place in the area. And like I say, it's free to use, which is always good. There's also separate themes for mine water heat and a shared area with the Environment Agency. So all in all, there's a whole lot of really useful mining information there that is free for everyone to view. I'll pass back to Diane for a bit of talk about Con29M reports.
Thank you, Steve. So some of you, if not all of you, may be aware of our Con29M coal mining report, and our report is a vital tool for detailing key historic coal mining risks when handling residential and non-residential property transactions. It is also the most common way that our information reaches a wider audience, and this report is continually updated to ensure that the very latest Law Society guidance is applied. Our report highlights at a glance key information specific to a property, enabling faster and better informed decisions. Our official Con29M report includes the following: the authoritative and trusted interpretation of the Mining Remediation Authority, which delivers reassurance to clients, insurers and lenders alike by outlining current or potential coal mining risks. There's a concise and handy glossary of mining terms at the back, which explains the key terms to the home buyer, as we like to be clear and transparent with our customers. The report also includes future known development advice and details in how to obtain a coal mining risk assessment if you are planning to develop in a high development risk area. Each report provides direct links to relevant follow-on reports, and these are detailed on the front page of the report to make it easier and clear to see next steps and which other reports you may need. Every Con29M report searches for the following important details: underground and open cast coal mining, mine entries, coal mining geology, coal mining subsidence, mine gas, surface hazards related to coal mining, historic rights to coal, and that's only applicable to non-residential only. The great news for our customers is that we have everything you need all under one roof. We hold subsidence claims files and various documentation should you need us to provide the information, meaning sales are not delayed unnecessarily. So I'll go to pass over to Steve now to discuss the material fact insurance, which is on the reverse.
Our material fact insurance is now offered with all of our Con29M reports. This is separate from the statutory cover offered under the 1991 Coal Mining Substance Act, and it covers you for any changes in the data that goes into the reports, up to the value of £100,000. So, for example, you may have bought a property in 2015 and had a Con29M report that was clear of mine entries. If you were looking to sell that property in 2025, and in that intervening 10 years we'd received new information and added a mine entry within reporting distance of the property, then that's when this insurance will be valid to cover any potential depreciation in value to the property caused by the presence of this new mine entry.
So if a mine entry is flagged, our Con29M will recommend various follow-on reports to ensure customers gain the full picture of the mine entry. We have over 176,000 recorded mine entries in our coal mining database, and there are many ways to obtain additional information on the mine entries. This includes a full search of the abandoned mines catalogue to identify the source plan, to a mine entry plan and data sheet containing more detailed information, but the most popular report for the conveyancing market is the mine entry interpretive report. Now, this report specifically was designed after listening to feedback from the conveyancing community and provide peace of mind in many instances. Now let's explore what information we can provide when a mine interpretive report is recommended as part of a coal mining report. If a mine entry is present within 20 metres of a property boundary, the Mining Remediation Authority will recommend a mine entry interpretive report. And this is a comprehensive separate report providing a risk assessment regarding the potential for ground movement. Our interpretive reports require to digitise 2 separate boundaries to accurately cover both the building footprint and the property boundary. The interpretive report provides a detailed assessment of the mine entry's potential impact on both the wider property boundary and the building footprint based on expert calculations of its zone of influence. Information on the mine entry, including the mineral worked, its source, and the depth of superficial deposits in the area. It is, of course, important to remember that in most cases, in the rare event that damage occurs due to historic coal mining, the Coal Mining Subsidence Act 1991 and amended by the Coal Industry Act in 1994 ensures that the Mining Remediation Authority covers the costs of repairs, protecting the property owner, the mortgage lender, and the insurer. The report also includes a conclusive risk statement and an ordnance survey map showing the best plotted position of the mine entry locations. Steve?
Thank you, Diane. So if you want this kind of information, but there is no property footprint, for example, if it's a new build property or a site in development, you may find that the mine entry plan and data sheet option is helpful. This report provides detailed information on the location, the depth, the diameter of identified mine entries, as well as, again, the thickness of geological deposits above rockhead. Other useful details you get with this report are coordinates for the best plotted position, the feature's source, what plans is it shown on, and any known treatment information for those mine entries. So we can supply specific details for any of the mine entries recorded in our database. If you need any clarification about this, you can ask us later, or you can contact your search provider or reach out to us directly at the Mining Remediation Authority. We're always happy to assist. I briefly mentioned treatment details in that previous slide, so I just thought I'd touch on treatment details for mine entries now. We publish any treatment information we have for mine entries in all our mining reports, but due to the historical nature of mine entries, we've only actually got treatment details for around 20% of the 176,000 in our database. But I think it's important to stress that just because we don't know how a mine entry has been treated doesn't mean it has not been treated. The fact that the treatment details for a lot of the features is unknown is not unusual across the 176,000 recorded mine entries that the Mining Remediation Authority knows of, because until the coal industry in Britain was nationalised in the 1940s, there was no real central store to hold this treatment information, and when a mine entry had finished working, the closure details and abandonment of the mine entry were just agreed locally between the mine operator and the landowner. So if you think about it, if a mine entry truly was untreated, then it would still be open and visible. Most mine entries were filled with spoil from the colliery site at the time of abandonment, and many look like the two images shown on the slide when uncovered by scraping or trenching. So these are two good examples. The two shafts on the slide, these were shafts that we previously had no treatment details for, so they were treatment unknown. It's a bit hard to see on the one on the left, but you can just make out the brick shaft lining, and the shaft has been filled pretty comprehensively with rubble from the colliery site. The shaft discovered on the right wasn't brick lined, but it doesn't take a trained information manager here to identify the shaft. This one has clearly been filled with coal tailings from the colliery site, which contrasts sharply with the lighter bedrock. So in the vast majority of cases, the reality of a shaft with no treatment details is very different to the perception that all old shafts are kind of void and lurking below the surface. If you've got time afterwards, I'd be interested to hear if the images here are what you expected from a mine entry with no treatment details. I'll now hand over to Diane and we'll talk about a few case studies of how we've helped members of the public.
Lovely, thank you, Steve. So we'll now run through 3 case studies where we feel we've really made a difference to our customers and provided them with confidence in what we do. So in this particular instance, it was a case that I personally dealt with. The daughter of a homeowner was attempting to purchase a property from her parents and extend the property to allow them to live in close proximity. A mine entry was reportable within 20 metres of the boundary of the property. Unfortunately, planning permission and a mortgage had been refused. So we had a phone call and an email from the potential buyer, and we reviewed all the source plans for the mine entry and concluded that a review of the best plotted position was actually necessary. The mine entry was subsequently moved, which then subsequently amended the zone of influence. A comfort letter was produced containing information regarding all of the work that had been completed by ourselves, and this was provided to the homeowners. Conversations by myself were held with the local building inspectors, and we organised that, and the change of circumstances was explained to them. Subsequently, 2 weeks later, we received an email from the potential purchaser to say that the mortgage had been secured and planning permission had been granted. In this instance, communication of all the information we held and changes made to our database and the support we provided and gave all that information to all parties was a key to ensuring a positive outcome. The second one, again, something I personally dealt with. A couple refused a mortgage because of a mine entry that was present within a property boundary. So this one wasn't actually located near the footprint of the main property. The customer ordered an interpretive report. However, the building society were still not willing to lend. The mine entry was actually a considerable distance from the main property footprint, but appeared to an untrained eye to be located beneath a specific building. In this instance, it was actually a converted garage. We provided all the relevant information held in connection with the mine entry, and as one of our engineers was working locally, I made arrangements for the engineer to go out and inspect and do an updated inspection. The engineer provided a written inspection report detailing the best plotted position, where it was located, which happened to be 44 metres for the main property footprint. Again, all the information was eventually submitted to the mortgage company. A comfort letter was provided, discussions with the mortgage company and the prospective homeowner, and again, the mortgage was granted. And that was granted at the end of January. And in this instance, we were actually contacted to say that the mortgage had been granted.
Thank you, Diane. I'll just talk you through another case study. This is one that I dealt with this time. So a customer was trying to purchase what they claimed was their dream house. However, it did have a mine entry in the rear garden. She was very keen to buy the property, and obviously the existing owner of the property had a mortgage on the property. But the buyer was told by multiple estate agents and brokers that, and I quote, "You will never get a mortgage on this property due to the mine entry." And I think when they were even refused a mortgage by the current mortgage provider for the property, the customer was just really confused. So they called the Mining Remediation Authority initially just to understand what was happening, why this was happening. So we explained the current situation with lending and lenders, and that the actual real world risk that this mine entry posed was very low, and the statistical low likelihood of anything adverse ever happening, and also the fact that if it should be completely covered by government statute. So again, we provided her with a comfort letter stating all this in black and white. And in conversations then, they definitely decided that they wanted the house. So after speaking to us and understanding the low real world risk that the feature posed, the buyer had the confidence to approach the lenders directly with the comfort letter we provided, and ultimately they secured a mortgage on the property. So I suppose our point is with these examples that mining legacy is now becoming, it's a very niche subject which fewer and fewer people properly understand. And adverse mining reports can seem scary to lenders and homeowners alike, but by utilising our data, our knowledge and our understanding, this can go a long way to educating all parties on what mining legacy risk actually means. So I'll pass back to Diane now. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. So we're just about finished, but I'll just touch on our commitment to our customer service. So at the Mining Remediation Authority, our customers and the communities we serve are at the core of everything that we do. We're proud to say that 90% of our residential reports are delivered within 1 day or less, typically within 10 minutes. And as I said earlier, last year alone, we delivered 126,000 coal mining reports to conveyancers, homeowners, developers, consultants, surveyors and lenders. We work closely with the lender community to ensure all parties involved in the property transaction chain receive our full support. And I believe that this is one of our greatest strengths, and it's our passion that we have for mining information and the relationships that we build with our customers, consultants and developers alike. Steve?
Yeah, so thank you for listening. We hope you found our presentation interesting. I suppose the main thing we were trying to get across is that here at the Mining Remediation Authority, we've got over 3 decades worth of experience of interpreting all this niche mining information, and we encourage anyone who needs to take advantage of that to take advantage of our knowledge and utilize it, because it can be really useful. And most of all, we hope the information we've given you today provides you with confidence on the coalfields. So thank you very much for listening and your time. We will now take any questions. Thank you.